Hi, how are you?
Ellen, hey, how you doing?
Hi, I love your hat.
Yes, I love that.
I didn't get a chance to change. Just came back from the doctor's, and I was like, ugh.
Oh,
Perfect. Perfect.
And I've got a rose, and guess who gave it to me?
Oh, nice. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry, better not pout. I'm telling you what. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, he's checking twice. Checking it twice. Gonna make sure if you're not, you're nice.
If any of you are interested in either being a participant or a spectator, I'm going to be hosting on Christmas Eve day at 11:30, a time for people to sing holiday, seasonal, or whatever songs they want to sing. And so if you're interested, send me an email and then I will send you the link. Okay?
Sounds fun.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Hi, Phil.
Is that Phil with his menorah?
Yep, that's.
Oh.
How do you
Oh, that's
say
a Christmas hat.
Anuchin Hanukkah? You taught us to say it on Facebook. How do you say it, Phil?
Phil, are you on?
Yeah, I'll double check. I should know how to pronounce it. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Happy
Hello.
holidays. Yeah, let's get set up here.
I have a Christmas and a Hanukkah tree right there.
All right.
Wow. All I have this year is a bow on our outdoor cake. Hey, thank you, Phil. Got your renewal, membership renewal.
Oh, I gotta do that too.
Cheryl.
Oh, I didn't get mine in the mailbox yet, but I will get mine in the mailbox.
And there's a gift in the mailbox for you, Sunshine.
Hi, and is mine from for this year, or is it for next year that I just sent you?
This year. You're
Okay.
good. You're good.
Okay.
Hi, Denise.
Hi. Okay, I'm going to have to put myself on no video right now because I'm going crazy, but I'm going to be here. Okay.
Well, don't go too crazy. Or if you do it on screen.
Okay.
And speaking personally, I just want to thank the people who worked very hard reading the books, the editors, which were Marcia Hackett, Lorraine Scout, and Peggy, and the people who read their own stories and realized there was a little something wrong here or there, so that we were able to have the most perfect book.
Yeah. Well, let's start the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's start with thank you, Sunshine. An
For
applause
real.
for Sunshine.
Because you
2020
applause.
would not be without her. I mean, Village Stories 2020. If the year hadn't been, that might have been good. But Village Stories wouldn't be if not for Sunshine. And Phil, thank you, Phil. If Phil hadn't caught that typo on the cover,
Eagle eyes.
that would have been so embarrassing.
I'm the king of the time.
You're great. Like I say, you're our Einstein. Thanks.
I try.
So,
And you are most welcome.
so I've got 10 authors who are submitting their book. Well, I've got one who for someone who doesn't get a book, who didn't publish a book. So I've got 10 altogether, in other words. So I've got Sunshines and Lorraine's and Phil's and Denise's. And so at the end, we'll take the last 20 minutes to raffle. And the point is, after you read the book, review it on Amazon. So it's like a double gift, or you get a gift on both sides. So that's the plan.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Denise.
How do I get the book? Do I just buy it off of Amazon?
No. The author of the book will either mail it to you or take it to you.
Okay.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And only write a review if you can say something nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunshine, for your help.
3 stars is as good as 5.
Right. Don't say mean things on your review. That would be very helpful.
Although if you want to say something to the author themselves, that could be helpful to the author. Hey, we are
That's true.
right here. You'll have our email. You can always give us feedback.
That's true. If you've got a criticism, tell the author. Don't tell Amazon.
Oh boy.
So, well, why don't we start with Phil?
I have let's see, what do I have got here? I did an adaptation of an old
It's Phil's book.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to do a Christmas song. I misunderstood. That's the latest book.
Promote your book, Phil. And it's a good book. I mean, it's very political. Everyone will get into it. It's certainly not boring.
I would say I'm an extremist independent. Whatever that. But it was very hard to put that together. All I can say is I went through hell. And my advice is to everybody, don't think the book can write itself. One of the last things my father said to me about my car was, it doesn't drive itself. Book, it doesn't write itself. There's no magic thinking going on, because you don't want anybody, including certainly a friend or some guy in Nebraska, to get a lousy edition. It's a ripoff. And so I agonized through July and August. There's still 3 pages that I repeated, and I will correct that. But this book is another scrapbook, a little more politically inclined, and I hope I did it all with humor. You know, there's enough bad vibes out there, so I did it with some humor. And I could say I enjoyed this one very much. I thought the sketches were good, the poetry was good. And the Boomer's back with original photographs, and Cherie is not mentioned as a co-author, but she really is. Also, my e-edition, what do you call it? I did an ebook on it, $1.99. It has an even better cover. It makes more sense, but if you can check that out, go to the Amazon ebook for The Boomer's Back. And of course, before that, I did the totally disappointing Seinfeld Reunion, which never happened. It's a quote unquote reunion. I think we all love Seinfeld, or at least the great seasons of Seinfeld. And we always said, you know, why don't they just do one episode, just come back, do a 25-minute thing and just do it like another episode. And I said, this was my dream of a Seinfeld reunion. I think it's kind of credible. They could have worked with it, but my brother actually knows one of the cast members. I'm a little bit hesitant to throw that at him. So the totally disappointing Seinfeld Reunion, and prior to that was the book Cherie and me did. The Boomerang Twice, loaded with romance, suspense, and cats. A lot of cats in it. Of course, Miranda was somewhat of a co-author for me with the original, The Boomerang. So it's written for everybody, especially for the club members. Oh, can I throw in one last thing that we've been kicking around? A lot of people are a little bit not embarrassed, but they say, yeah, I really have no literary resume. You know, I have no bylines or even a letter to the editor. There's something that's free that's out there, and it's called Twitter. It's political, but I still put music up and poetry. I put up a poem, something I wrote sort of half awake, half asleep, and I didn't even take it seriously. It got 1,350 hits, I think.
Whoa.
I didn't think it was one of my good ones at all. 1,350 hits. Well, you can't put it on your resume, but if you want to, for all you people who haven't yet published a book or even gotten a letter to the editor, go to Twitter and you get into some good conversation. There's a lot of nuts out there to deal with, but it's still a great brain exercise. And so if you want to test out some of your poetry and essays, you can use Twitter. And what's great about it is you see the Twitter activity, it'll give you a number, 832 views, which they don't have on Amazon. We don't know how many people, unless maybe, Bob, do you know a mechanism for that? But we don't know how many people are viewing our book on Amazon, but we can get a reading on who is reading. That's Amazon. I meant Facebook. Well, actually, Facebook. Yeah. Okay. Well, Facebook and Twitter are a resource for writers to get experience and to sort of test market your poetry. So if you want to do it on poetry, up 5 poems on Twitter. And if you get 3 responses in 3 months, maybe you don't want to deal with it, but you get 1,300 or 2. One time I got 21,000. Here's another example. I got into a volley with this guy. I can't remember his name, a hard right Trumper kind of dude. And I forgot what I wrote. I got 21,000 views. I don't know what they thought of it, because it's not a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing, I don't think. But I got 21,000. So it is a good test market for writing if you're a little hesitant and say, how good am I really? But if you get 10,000 views, that's pretty darn good. I wanted to throw that in, if you didn't mind, on Twitter. And as far as the books go, I don't know if you want me to read from any of the books. Later on, I could do that. Is anybody else going to do a report on their latest?
Well, all of us here are. Yeah. So if we have time at the end, yeah, that would be good. I just wanted to say, in Phil's book, he's kind of obsessed with Jack Kennedy's murder. Yeah. And I was in Dallas when he was murdered, and my son still suspects me.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, thank you, Phil. And next, Sunshine. Sunshine.
I will unmute myself here. And this is my 3rd book. It's called Sunshine Stories 2. And it just was published a couple weeks ago. And probably one of my favorite stories. I have lots of favorite stories. That's how they get to be in the book. But I was trying to decide whether I was going to share those wonderful, horrible shrimp or colors. And I decided to go with colors. Okay. So I am going to tell you how this all came about. What happened is I belong to a group called Village String Band. And they were every week selecting a theme that they were going to do songs about. And one week they chose the theme of colors. Now there's lots of ways that you can go on that, but my brain decided to kick in on this. I grew up surrounded by religion. My dad was a preacher. My life was filled with music, but otherwise I was isolated in small church environments. I dutifully sat through the sermons, but didn't listen much. I loved the songs, especially loved singing them. The words and the melodies still ring in my head. Even though I've never seen people of color, because it was back in Wisconsin and Dairyland, and everybody was one color there, I enthusiastically sang, "Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight." Throughout grade school and high school, I sat through history lectures the same way I did through sermons, so I didn't learn much. In the 60s, I married. While working full-time, I attended college part-time, and I learned many things. I was finally listening with my mind and my heart. I learned about diversity and the fight for equality for all. I learned about the freedom fighters who fought to end discrimination against the Black population in Alabama. My husband and I hung huge posters on our wall of our heroes, Martin Luther King Jr. and John F. Kennedy. In the 80s, I first worked with and became friends with a Black woman. 10 years later, in 1994, she helped me and saved my job when I faced an intolerable situation. After I lost my first husband to disease, I married again. I didn't know my new husband was Jewish because he wasn't religious, but he shared stories of discrimination he experienced. A hotel with a sign that said, "No Jews or dogs," and the problems he experienced during World War II in Army barracks. These stories, they were a revelation to me. I was unaware of any discrimination against Jews since the regime of Hitler. The pandemic brought new light to problems of which I was already aware. But now, these problems were exposed with unmistakable clarity. Black people, brown people, poor people, so many of our essential workers who had to keep working without protection, who were taken down by COVID-19. The murder of George Floyd set in motion the drive of people of many colors to demonstrate, to march, and to push for change. Change that brings equality for all, economic, healthcare, education, change within the police ranks, where recognition of implicit bias, as well as real accountability, can result in saving lives, no matter the color. Due to COVID-19, and because my husband and I are part of a vulnerable population, like all of you are, I participated in a virtual protest. My picture was combined with many others in an excellent video called The Virtual Protest. And I'm going to show that picture to you. Just hold on 1 second. There it is. Share. There it is. Hate has no home here. We shall overcome. That's what I have to share today.
Very good. Very impressive. Oh, Scott, I was worried about you. I hadn't heard from you.
No, I got here.
Do you want to donate a book to our raffle?
Yeah, I sent you a message. Actually, that's what I was doing. That's one reason I was late. I was sending a message on that. Yeah.
So I'll add you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, welcome. We've been missing you. Okay,
Well,
next, Lorraine.
Oh, hey, Black Women with Tamales. It's a wonderful book. Short stories, short stories. And
I bought it. Yeah.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm from Honduras. I came here long ago without speaking English, and my accent's gone, but my skill to make tamales isn't. So that's what we do every Christmas.
Good.
We make tamales, all right?
I expect some for Christmas.
Okay, I remember that. This book is really came out of all of the things that Peggy and everyone else at the Village Publishing Club, the meetings, the people that came and spoke to us, really was helpful in me getting this book published. They're short stories about female immigrants and the struggles that they have, and some are funny, some are sad. I'm working on another book that's going to deal with some of the same things, and also I'm putting together a children's book about a dog that crosses the border illegally. So that's coming, and I was going to quickly read you a poem that's going to be in the in our new book. Here we go. I'm in a COVID-19 state of mind. People just want to run away, take a drive from South OC to LA, hop on the 405 to Malibu Beach, or watch the sunset from Mozambique. But I'm cozy in my Italian club chair, planning my 1 p.m. breakfast. I'm in a COVID state of mind. I got a source for an espresso decaf. Enough cottonelle, don't laugh, to outlast my panic attacks. And plenty of Costco gas, just in case I tire of puzzles, Netflix, yoga, rolling out pizza dough, thick or thin, BritBox, or the man with whom I sleep. When writer's block has a hole, where's my CBD? I'm in a COVID-19 state of mind. Thank you. So enjoy the book.
Thank you. And also, Sunshine, I didn't get a chance to thank you. That was an excellent essay. Very well written.
Thank you.
Next, let's have Marcia. Marcia Hackett.
I did not know that we were supposed to read something today.
You don't have to.
This
Just
is
talk about your book.
well, I don't have anything to, I could read something from my book if you want me to.
Sure.
Can somebody else go next while
Sure.
I
Let me
check out what I might like to read?
Sure. How about Scott?
Oh. I wasn't planning to read. Okay. I'm actually just going to read one poem now, but the book that I put up is Legacy, which is 30 years of haiku. And the person who runs the Haiku Foundation in America asked me to submit it for the Touchstone Award, which is a major deal. So that's nice. But I'm going to read one piece that I wrote about COVID, and it's called "The Year We Never Saw Coming." 2020, its sound has symmetry, but infamy's mark will cling to its numeral like a cross on a hill. And those who endure will not forget this scythe unseen, born in a world half away. It is not the corona surrounding sun or a nimbus surrounding saints' heads or gods. It's not the moon pregnant with promise. It's a stalker stealing breath without mercy, a killer floating on air. It's moisture staining a worker's hands, one love's poisonous kiss. What can be done with such viral fury, which respects neither wisdom or age? And who will it call today, tomorrow? This cleaver of parents from children, whose hands on glass cannot touch. So that's just one of my recent, relatively
That's
recent poems.
Yeah, tell us a little about your publishing career.
Okay, well, this book, which I'll show up here now, I've got all sorts of, as you could tell, I've got all sorts of bookmarkers there because I have a reading coming up this Saturday, and it's with a Pasadena group, and I'm going to be one of the features for that reading, which is great. And it's my 17th, and it's going to be the last of my my short stuff for at least till 2023, because I'm now working on my my 18th and 19th, and they're all freeform. One's about the Civil War, and one is a combination of music and memory, and also just all the poems that didn't fit in the category of the Civil War or music and memory, and I call it Orphans because it doesn't belong to either of those collections. And I have approximately 100 pages each already of those two, and then I have a third one that I'm getting together too. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's keeping me out of trouble. So that's a good thing. And then one other thing that's just a thing of interest, I think, for a lot of writers. I got the opportunity on Monday to do a Zoom conference with a guy named David Amram. Now he is 90 years old. He's still composing both classical and jazz music. He was a friend of Jack Kerouac's, and so a lot of his talk came from a book club that I was invited to. It's actually out of New York. And one of my friends who I've known for 50 years got me in on this. So I found out that he played with all the great jazz players, you know, Sonny Rollins and Zoot Sims and all of these people. He was a good personal friend of Jack Kerouac's and knew all the beats. And on top of that, he's also a classical composer. He plays piano, French horn, penny whistle, and composes. And he was the first person that Leonard Bernstein chose to be running the foundation when Leonard was doing a particular set of work. He also wrote, for instance, the scores for The Manchurian Candidate, as well as many other movies. And it was very interesting to talk to him. And this is a guy who's 90, and he just said, if you're a creative person, just keep doing what you do. So I found that also very inspiring. So just wanted to share that with you folks.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Scott's also our master of haiku. He's a great poet.
Thank you.
Next,
Peggy,
Marcia.
okay, I found something from my book.
Sure.
This is a true story. When teachers had license to discipline students and not fear reprisal. This happened to me as a second grader, called A Hard Lesson. Someone wisely pronounced rules are meant to be broken. I can't believe Miss Abbott made me do this. How could she be so mean? She knows the kids already tease me about my Southern accent. Now they'll really tease me. I won't ever live this down. I can't help it if I learn to talk in Georgia. Mama says I talk just fine for a second grader. Miss Abbott doesn't even care that I'm new, trying to make friends and learn about all the school rules. Now this, what am I going to do? Everybody but me knows how to blow bubbles. All the kids blow bubbles all the time on the playground. They don't get caught. Why did Miss Abbott look at me the minute I blew my first bubble? How could I be so unlucky? I know the rules, no chewing gum in school. But I've been practicing every day on the way to school. It's so hard to push the air along my tongue with the gum wrapped around it and make a bubble. The pink wad sticks to my tongue and won't get bigger. I have to spit it out and try again. I know I'm not supposed to chew gum in class, but I forgot to take it out. Now I have to sit here in the hall with the stupid gum on my nose for a whole hour just because I finally blew a humongous bubble that popped the minute Miss Abbott looked at me. Oh, I'm totally bummed. I hope none of the big kids walk by. Hurry up, clock. Make it be 9 o'clock so I can go back into the classroom. I wonder if I should tell Mama. She won't have any sympathy. I know exactly what she'll say. Rules are made for a good reason, young lady, so you need to follow them. Oh no, here comes Miss Allen's 5th grade class walking down the hall, like they're so important. I know everybody's looking at me. I could just die. Maybe if I look at the wall and act like I see something, they won't notice the gum on my nose. Marcia, you can throw away the gum and come back into class now. It's 9 o'clock. Oh, thank you, God. I'll just act like nothing happened. Mama doesn't need to know when I get home. I will never, ever forget Miss Abbott and what she did to me.
So tell us a little about publishing your book, Marcia.
Well, I never intended to put this out in the wide world. I've been working on it for 10 years, just as a gift to my family. And finally, during the pandemic, I took a lot of writing classes from different people over the last 10 years. And finally, when the pandemic arrived and we had to stay home, I thought, well, heck, I might as well just finish the book. So that's what I did. And I self-published through a company called Ingram Spark. I think that's the name. Maybe you've heard of that. Yeah, it's maybe on the back. And the editor, actually, I did my own editing. He actually walked me through the logistics of publishing. Anyway, he suggested I put it on Amazon. So my first royalty check was $4.78. And the next one was like $7.21. So I don't expect to make any money. I never intended it for that, but I did, give copies to all my family and my grandkids and so forth. So now I've traveled extensively. I'm working on some travel stories. I've been all over the world several times and have a lot of good travel experiences. But that's a different kind of writing.
Very interesting. Yeah. There's
I'm
so
happy
many
to donate a book. I'm happy to donate a book.
Great. There's so many reasons to write, but the number one reason is to leave a legacy. And as Sunshine was saying, we all have a story, but we don't all necessarily have a book. So it gets really difficult to publish a whole book. Next, I'm going to ask.
Excuse me, Peggy.
Yes.
Can I just follow up on something Marcia said about writing classes?
Sure.
Because I just want to recommend a fantastic book on writing. Maybe some of you know of it. I had the good fortune to have taken a course from this professor Was considered like the guru at Yale when I was there on teaching writing, and there are many prominent writers who took that class and they sing his praises. But I was a little bit foolish when I was young. I missed out on some with the great professors, but I took a course with him years later at the New School in New York. But in any case, you don't need to take a course with him, and he's long gone, but he wrote a book that's considered a Bible of good writing. It's called On Writing Well. I think it's in its 3rd edition. His name is William Zinsser. And this book, again, I know they're classmates of mine who become famous writers. They swear by him. They swear by this book. I use this book, and you really, I think in some respects it's better than many writing classes because it just teaches you so many basics. And even the very opening, it's just very funny, and it's not boring at all. So again, it's On Writing Well by William Zinsser. And for anyone who's, I don't know that it's really relevant, and I'm trying to remember now, to those who are writing poetry, but for other kinds of writing, really, there's so many tips you can pick up on. And for those of you who self-edit your writing, it's extremely helpful. So I would recommend ordering that ASAP just to help you for future writing. So thank you, Peggy.
Thank you.
Can you put the author's name in chat box?
In the chat box?
Uh-huh.
Hold on, let me see if I'm capable of doing this.
Thank you, Fred.
Yes.
That's
All right.
very informative. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
And did I say next, Ellen? Ellen, maybe.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, terrific. So I was gonna just well, thank you. It's so great to see everyone and hear what everyone's up to. For the exchange, I was gonna make it possible for people to listen to it's a poetry music album called Skywriting of Glitter that I did with my collaborator Robbie Fitzsimmons, who plays piano and sings. So we work a lot, you know, with poetry and music and the different ways that you can collaborate with that. And he's also in my band, so I've known him a long time, and he's a wonderful singer and piano player, and I love working with music. So I think it's always been really fun and inspiring to do something like that. Yeah. So I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Yeah, tell us about your career. Mostly a poet. I think Ellen and Scott are the most famous amongst us, of course, Sunshine and Phil, but Ellen, she's even known all over the United States. I'm sure Scott is too. But yeah, tell us about your career, Ellen. She's so popular, she gets mimicked.
Thanks. Well, I was really shy when I started reading, so I never thought I would read. I'm still kind of shy, even still. And I just started writing all these poems and stuff over time that just kind of come to me. And I've done some books. Henry Rollins published one of my books, and I've had some other books published. And I eventually, over time, started working with music, you know, about, well, even before I started working more formally with music, sometimes at the coffee house I used to go to a lot, there were a lot of different artists and musicians to it, and sometimes they would have us come and they would improvise. So I've always felt an innate connection to music, but I love the other arts too, because I went to film school, but I don't really make films or anything. I just love, and I lived in New York, I just love really creative environments. I think it inspires artists to, you know, delve into other forms to some degree, just to, the creativity of different environments are really important. So I just think, and I've been really fortunate to have the warmth of community since I've been reading and stuff. And I'm trying to think.
Can you read us a poem?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Hopefully it's. Hold on one second. I wait 1 second. Oh yeah. Okay. I can read you. Actually, this is in the anthology. This coming out Village Stories. Let me put the light on just a little better.
Right, we're getting a lot of promos for Village Stories.
Yeah. So this is a poem I wrote when Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. It's called. Oh, thank you. It's called RBG. There's a flurry of judicial collars lining the clouds. Every decision and every dissent stays in the air like musical breath. With your penchant for opera, you are a fermat of wisdom, holding on through the ravages and chaos. Pioneer an epic full of verve and mind-shattering strength, wearing resistance and resilience on your soul, supreme being, super shero, legendary icon for good. You will remain larger than life in our memories. Breathing your last breath on Rosh Hashanah is said to be the way of the righteous. You are notorious, thrilling, doing what you were put on earth to do. You leave behind stardust and legal briefs and push-ups and tenacity. You were the first in your class. You were one of a kind. You are remembered with respect. The opera glasses hang in the air, waiting for more and more and more to see how you became music. Through the sky, wisdom sings our hopes awake. Your legacy still lives on earth in every constellation that needs truth. Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you are so dearly missed. It is now up to us to put our collars on and walk into the future with the opera whispering in our ear like a ferocious future in a crescendo. It is now up to us to sing your memory home.
That's beautiful.
Great piece.
Thank you.
Great piece, Ellen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See what I told you? She's unique. Let's see next. Deneen. Deneen wrote the
Coming
Bible
on.
Bad Girls.
Yes. Well, I love
I've
hearing
got it, but
everybody's.
I'm not sure where.
Well, my book, let's see if I can hold that up. Bible's Bad Girls. Stories of some of the lesser known brave and courageous women. I'm a Christian writer, and what I've done is taken 8 different women of the Bible and wrote them from sort of first person, my perspective of what was going on. There's history involved there and everything else that's going on at that time. And then I incorporate a Bible study afterwards with different questions of reflection. And in this book, I have 4 from the Old Testament and 4 from the New Testament. So in my book, let's see, I have Rachel and Miriam and the widow of Zarephath, and also one that is of all the 6 women that were childless until they were very much older in age. And then in the New Testament, it's Dorcas and Lydia and Priscilla and Phoebe. So I'm in the process of doing a second book. I'm just waiting for the cover design to come back to me. And Sunshine, you were really helpful getting that format for me. Thank you so much. So I'm ready to do that one. And that one's called Royalty and Loyalty. And again, it's 8 different women again. And I also, in the second book, I added a sermonette to reflection. And also, finally, in my first book, I also have that, it is on Kindle, but I also have it audio. So I went through that whole sequence to do my book as an audio. That's it.
Excellent. Also, you sang what at our storytelling, you sang for us, right?
Right. I have about 6 different songs that I created that have to do with women of the Bible. And the one that I did at one of your storytelling was the story of Esther. So, and on my website, I have all those songs so you can hear them and all the different stories that I do, because I also do a lot of performing. Well, I used to be able to go perform my stories for people, but with COVID, I'm not doing too much of that. I've got to figure out how to be able to do it online here and do it virtual.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. She's a wonderful storyteller also.
Thank you.
Daya,
Yes.
do you want to tell us a little about your mandala?
Well,
I have it on my wall, so I can't take it down.
no, I'm just, this is something different I'm going to say now, and that is, it's not about the mandala meditation, and that mandala meditation is about 7 minutes a day, 7 days a week. But now this is something different I've been thinking, and that is, as the Christmas is coming, and at the same time, COVID-19 is still, persist here, and hopefully it will, we can say goodbye to COVID-19. And as I sit sometimes and on my patio, and I see that how can I have some moments of relief from not thinking about COVID-19? It's always on my mind, as the song goes, Georgia on my mind. But this COVID all the time. So I started thinking, and then one of my childhood stories came, and I jotted down, and the story is a true episodes. All my stories are true episodes. And so when I was growing up, I was in first grade, and I was very much attached to my nanny at that time. But nanny used to live away in a quarter from our building. And I will just love to go and spend time with my nanny. Her name was Mesa. And then on Christmas time, Mesa will bake the cookies. And I felt very special that she will make me a part of that process. So I was just thinking about it. And then one particular 2 days before the Christmas, I asked my parents, I want to go to Mesa quarter. And they said, well, it's a kind of a sprinkling outside. And they said, well, I'll just take umbrella and may I please. So I went there and I spent time with her. And she said, okay, you want to help? So I started helping. And then she said, oh, now we need, for our cookies we are baking, we need some sugar. The sugar was on the shelf, and then I put a little can, and I put the can upside down, and I stood on the can, and then I started bringing that can of sugar down. And then I had the sugar can in my hand, but my foot slipped. But she picked me up. So anyway, we baked cookies, and then she said, okay, honey, now let us distribute everything. We're going to have 7 little bags, okay? And so I said, okay. So then she said, so I did 6 of those bags after we baked cookies. And then she said, well, we need to have the 7th one. And I said, what for the 7th, Mesa? And then she said, well, the 7th is for Bikuji. And I said, who is Bikuji? Well, you will know. So it was getting dark. And then I held Mesa's hand, and then we took that little bag of cookies, and we kept walking and walking. And then she said, now be sure to see there will be at the road, there will be a little bit darkness, but there is a light lamp. There is a lamp will be shining because there's a kind of a street light. So I said, okay, I see that light, Mesa. So we arrived there, and there was a pile and pile of blankets, pile up one layer after the other. And she said, well, what do you see? What do you see? Do you see anything? I said, yeah, I see a pile of blankets. And then I said, just wait a minute. I think something is moving a little bit. And then she said, okay, keep moving, keep going. So then we arrived there, and then she said, Merry Christmas, Mr. Bhikuji. So then came out this nice kind of homeless person from under the blanket. And then we handed the cookies to Bhikuji, and Bhikuji said, thank you so much. And then she said, Mesa gave me the credit. She said, this little girl helped bake these cookies, Bhikuji. And I felt so special that, oh, I made those cookies for Bhikuji. That was the best Christmas I ever had.
Oh.
What a nice story. What a sweet story. Thank you.
So with Christmas coming, I just felt so good. I thought, okay, my memory is there for Bhikuji. Christmas with Bhikuji, with Mesa, my nanny.
Daya sent us all a mandala pamphlet for meditating. I put mine on the wall. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I meditate. It sure works.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Right?
Shanti.
Yeah.
Next, how about Doug Sainsbury? Trillions. Not billions, but trillions.
So I'm supposed to describe.
Yeah, tell us about your writing career. And if you want to read a little from this book, because it's in our raffle. I have it somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I got so many books. Yeah.
Well, I was an English major in college, and I went to law school and graduated from there. And then after that, went almost immediately into the Army because it was at a time when the war was raging in Vietnam. So, but I always wanted to write fiction and never felt like I had the time when I was working and raising a family and so forth. So once I retired, I had no more excuses. So I set about it. I had an idea for a seven book series, but once I started writing the first one, I could see that I had bitten off way more than I could chew. So I thought I better just concentrate on finishing the first one and then see where that goes after that. So Intrusion was the first book, and it's about a young man in Chicago who goes to work one day and has several unusual things happen to him. And his mentor at work is an older guy, about 20 years older than him, and his best friend at work kind of befriends him and believes what he says about all these unusual things that were happening to him. So it turns out that an alien force has kind of invaded his life and made it miserable, actually. He can't get access to any computer to type a report that's due in 2 days, and they try different computers. It doesn't work, and eventually the Russians think that he has some kind of strange powers, and since he's an American, they don't feel like they want to take a chance on him providing the U.S. with some kind of advantage. So they set about trying to track him down, and the FBI is involved, and it's kind of a surprise ending. And then the second book is called Phantasm, and it's a continuation of the story. Most of the same characters are in it. And Jeremy, Jeremy is no longer around. He disappeared. And his four friends receive a message from an unsigned message from who knows who that they should gather at a restaurant on Saturday night. So they do, and then a guy in a Cubs not uniform, but jacket hands off a manila envelope to one of the four. There's a letter in there telling them that they should, sorry about the noise if you can hear it, our building is being painted. We're in the week number 11 of this stuff between the plumbers and the painters. But anyway, so they take a trip up north. They go through Minocqua, Wisconsin, where it's in the fall and it's raining and so forth. And they end up in the UP of Michigan, where the letter had told them to go. And they see the aurora borealis in all of its splendor. And at they have some adventures. They're there about a week, going to various restaurants and so forth. There's not much going on because it's kind of it's the off season. And then at the cabin, they're out on in the back, barbecuing, enjoying the sunset and so forth. And all of a sudden a white flash appears over the lake, and this figure comes forward. It turns out to be the doctor who had treated one of the four earlier in the year. And they ask him if Jeremy's coming, and he said, I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. So anyway, I'll leave that at that point because there's a little more after it. And then in the third book, it's called Emergence, and Jeremy does come back, and he's learned some of the basics about time travel. So that's how he's able to get back. He had permission from the folks he was working for out in space, and he goes to again his mentor's house, trying to hide out a little bit. The FBI comes over and said, we're going to have to move you. You can't stay here. So the FBI has a little apartment built in the basement of the Field Museum in Chicago. And it's got a bathroom and shower and all the conveniences. And that's where he has to hang out until they get things sorted out with the Russians. So anyway, he has some adventures, and he has emerged. He's on Earth again, and has a rendezvous with all four of his friends, a brief one. And then there are some other interesting characters, I think, in the book that enter into his life. And I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot more to it. And Trillions is the one that I just published in July. And you can see it. I think Peggy might have held it up. But anyway, it's not related to the other three. It's not in the series. It's a story of, well, let me read. I'm going to read the back cover because it kind of gives a pretty good synopsis of the story. David Knight, accounting director for a Chicago medical group, went to work on St. Patrick's Day. When checking his bank account, he discovered a huge deposit with the source unknown. No lucky four-leaf clover, an accident, drug cartels, foreign nation, malicious organized crime. Is national security compromised? He learns he has been temporarily frozen out of the U.S. banking system while the bank, then federal regulators and law enforcement agencies investigate. This apparent windfall initiates chaos in his life as he and his fiancee, Natalie, face intrusion into their wedding plans by a furtive woman, Maria. Dave's company, uncomfortable with the attention his situation has generated, fires him. He needs a lawyer, cash to pay his bills, and a new job to resume his career. He begins a job search. A mysterious neighbor in the condo building offers him a part-time job working as his accountant. His name is Lucius, and he owns a business that provides security for microchip companies and secure distribution of olive oil for European farmers and corporate growers. Dave takes over the finances so Lucius can spend more time prospecting for new clients. Dave notices large salaries for employees and unusual fees paid to officials in foreign countries. Did he get himself into something illegal? As federal investigations intensify, Dave finds he is the prime criminal suspect regarding the deposit in his account. His only friend is Natalie until an FBI agent offers his personal assistance. The team of investigators discovers a strange one-way portal in cyberspace through which the funds may have been deposited in Dave's account, but the team cannot penetrate the portal to trace the funds. Is Maria involved? Is Lucius? Dave struggles to normalize his life and wonders when this fiasco will end. So that's what that's about.
And they're all 4 books are great because I read all 4.
Thank you, Scott. I've read 2 of yours.
Yeah, I've read Doug's too. They're very interesting. Do you call your genre sci-fi?
Well, I can see where you might think that, but I kind of prefer to call it mystery suspense with a little paranormal thrown in.
Okay, very good. If you want a good read, hey, there's never been a better time.
Peggy?
Maybe you'd be so lucky as to win it. Yes, Michael?
Sunshine, I have another appointment that I need to go to. So I'll call you at some tomorrow maybe and check in and talk to you further.
Okay,
Sure.
sounds good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Peggy,
Well,
I have a
welcome and
question.
see you soon.
Okay.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
Is
Happy everyone.
Professor Allen here? Professor? No,
Yeah.
no, Professor Allen. How about Sue Allen? Is Sue Allen here? Sue Allen Zima? No? Okay, so then I guess it's my turn. I think everybody's gone, right? Did I miss anyone? No.
They were here. No,
Oh.
Peggy, can I ask a question?
Great grandmother's manuscript.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You want me to do that at the end after you go?
Go ahead, Scott. And then, yeah, Sue.
Yeah, the question I had is how we're going to arrange these donations, or do we just buy a book from Amazon and then review? How do you do it?
My idea was that the author either mails you or takes you a copy.
Okay.
You read it, of course, keep it, and then review it on Amazon.
Okay. All right. I just wondered how we're going to arrange all that.
And then, isn't Nancy gonna do something? Did I-
Yeah, Nancy, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to say thank you for sharing your stories. I am humbled by the audience on my screen in front of me. You all have many, many, many years on me because I'm just starting. I am a member of a group called the Intrepid Writers Group, and I started writing my own memoir. And then in February, my aunt and uncle celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary. And I came to be aware of my cousin having possession of a 580-page manuscript that my great-grandmother had typed, must have been on a standard upright typewriter, 95 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And this document, well, my cousin gave it to me to read. It took me 2 months to read it because Nanny was my great grandmother. Unlike a nanny, that was what I called her, was Nanny. She writes in a stream of consciousness rambling format. And it was often very difficult to figure out how she got here from there. But it was extremely interesting. And I deciphered 3 major themes in her writing. The first is how she mothered, as she calls it, over 170 babies in a 12-year period and never took 1 penny for any of her work. She got babies as young as 30 minutes old. She had relationships with physicians who knew of unwed mothers or mothers that couldn't, for whatever reason, take care of the babies. And Nanny had a heart for babies. She also, another theme, which is equally as important, is how she felt led by God to do her baby work, as she calls it. And then the third theme is how she dedicated her baby work to her son's memory, who died of black diphtheria at the age of 17. So when I read this, I contacted a cousin on the East Coast, and he took this document. Well, first of all, I took it to Staples and I had them scan it. And then I sent it to my cousin, and he took it and sectioned it into sections of 60 pages each and posted it on Google Docs. And we started going through and editing. So I did another couple of months of line item editing. As a former special ed teacher, I'm a very good editor. I'm not such a good reader.
Good to know.
And so I went through for spelling, grammar, punctuation, the transition from the actual document onto Google Docs. There was a lot of weird stuff going on. So it truly has been a pandemic project. So I think I probably told this group something about this because, and Marcia, you can fill in the blanks. I really forget how you and I came into contact, but Marcia and I did talk, and she told me about an editor that she had used, and I contacted Nick, and he and I over the months have had some conversations. The concern is his price tag, because what he needs to do is take this 580-page document organize it, put a table of contents into it, and eliminate the irrelevant information. Because, as I said, it's long, it's rambling, and he told me it needs to be cut in half.
Mm.
Whoa. So how to do that? So my cousin and I, in the meantime, came into contact with the children of two of the babies that Nanny mothered. One of them was always known to me as my adopted uncle, and I knew his daughter. The other one, and her name is Pam, the other baby lived with Nanny for 5 years before she was adopted by Harold Lloyd. Does that name ring a bell to anybody?
Yeah.
So his family adopted Gloria, and the son, who is David, got in touch with the daughter of the other one, Pam, and they have become a part of this collaboration as well. David sent me an email with 3 photographs. One was his mother with Shirley Temple when she was about 8 years old. Another was a picture of her with Frank Sinatra when Frank was 27. And another was a birthday party with a whole bunch of people, including Mickey Rooney and other actors and actresses.
Whoa.
So it became a bit of a concern to me that if we share this document with David and his connections, what might he do with it? And I ended up taking a copyright class. I have looked into protections and so forth. Come to find out, I probably won't need any of those because David is a very honest, helpful man who is only 5 years younger than I am. So where are we with the project? Well, what we decided as the 4 of us collaborating is that we needed to see a sample of our editor's work. So we chose the first 50 pages of her manuscript, and he is culling it, which is a word I never knew existed, but he's culling it down to about 10 pages, 50 pages to 10.
Whoa.
He said it at first, he said 5 to 10, and I'm like, the panic hit me. And so anyway, that's what he's doing right now for a nominal fee. We're going to take a look at what he has to do. I know we're going to go with him. What he is going to be able to bring to the project is the organization, and making it flow and make sense. And so that's kind of where we are. The goal that I have, first of all, I'm hoping a year from now, when we meet at the same time, to have the book finished. At first, the first goal is to create a legacy for my children, grandchildren, my family, extended family, and so forth. But I think there's something else. I think that there could be some inspiration for children who were fostered, for children who were adopted, for perhaps people that run agencies for children that were fostered or adopted. And I was interested, I made a note Deneen, I want to contact you as a Christian writer because there is definitely that spiritual theme throughout this book, and that needs to be heard. And Nick knows this.
Definitely. For some reason, I can't get my video on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing something weird. But anyway, yes, I would love to be contacted by you. We talk more.
Great. So a big thank you to Marcia for putting me in contact with my editor. What I have done, various family members have contributed financially. I went out on a limb and posted a Facebook fundraiser and have gotten some contributions. Reality is setting in that this is not going to be a big seller, but you know, who knows? Who knows?
Can I interject?
Yes, please. I'm done talking, and any suggestions you have, I would be all ears.
I'm just trying to get a better handle on this. This is, in essence, a diary or a journal that was kept by your relative that was documenting what she was doing 95 years ago?
Yes, yes. So
Wow.
she would get these babies, she would bring them home, she would bathe them, first of all, because many of them, you know, were living in squalor.
Could you get the phone? Hold on a second, because I was expecting an important. Pick it up, please. I'll be right back.
Okay. So she would feed them, clothe them, love them. She has a picture of her with 10 babies all at once.
Oh, wow.
All lined up, all with these outfits on that are like the christening outfits, you know, the white.
Mm-hmm.
She was very wealthy. She was married to 3 millionaires. I say 3 because that's a mystery. I don't know the story of the divorces and so forth, but she did have a winter home in Florida, and she would take these babies on a train all by herself to Florida for a time being. She did move from Chicago to California, probably 2/3 of the way through her 12-year mothering period. So,
So I'm back. I'm sorry. There was just
yes,
a phone
that's
call.
okay.
I've been waiting. There's a reporter. Any case, I'm waiting for a call. I may have to cut out, but I just want to tell you, even though, and I appreciate your candor about the state that this is in, as you know, getting anything done on a commercial level is extremely, extremely hard. Having said that, I think you have possibilities here because you have something documenting, you know, people love real life stories, and you have something capturing a period of time that probably very few people were writing about. I'm talking about especially what was her relationship again to you?
She was my great-grandmother.
Your great-grandmother was doing something, you know, as a whole aspect of life back then that, you know, I don't really remember reading much about. She was capturing something contemporaneously, and that could be of real value. I'm talking about to a commercial publisher, coupled with the fact that you're now telling me there, you know, was quote unquote, or there are quote unquote, you know, what's known as bold-faced names. I mean, you have celebrities, admittedly they're older celebrities, but still they're, you know, as you know, for book buyers, there's a whole segment of the book buyer audience that is older. And so that section of the older audience will know who Harold Lloyd was, or Shirley Temple, or of course, Frank Sinatra. I think I'm not saying it's not worth it to get this editor involved. I don't know that it's worth spending a lot of money now bringing in an editor when in theory there might be an agent out there who would want to take this on, you know, present it to some book publisher. And now I'm down to 5% on my, I'm going to be moving, sorry, but I'll be talking at the same time. You know, where they would bring in some kind of publisher who would have editors who would work with this material. So I'm not saying there's anything definite here. I'm a little wary about your bringing in, if you're going to be spending a lot of money on an editor now, I just don't know if that's worth it right at this point in time. Because you could have something of value and that work could be done, you know, with you possibly getting in advance to deal with that. If your goal is in the end, you say primarily is to create this legacy for your family, and you think you need that editor to get it into a readable form that's worthwhile for your family, then, you know, I understand that. I'm just saying, and again, it's a crapshoot, and I'm not saying it's likely, but I've heard plenty of ideas, you know, from plenty of people, and I've done some projects myself. You need some kind of hook to have a chance, and I'm telling you, there's a potential hook here, and so don't sell it short. I'm not telling you it's going to happen, or the chances are that it will happen. I'm telling you, you have something that's possible because you have something that's truly unique. It is unique, and it's capturing a period of time, the story that I don't, you know, really remember hearing about. And if you tell me there's a spiritual angle, and I'm not religious, I'm not Christian, I'm Jewish, but I guess as Deneen can well speak to, there is a whole market for that as well. So you do have something. I think I would actually be curious to take a look. I'm not promising anything or that I'm capable of doing anything, just to get some idea of if there's Google Docs. But in any case, if you tell me that Harold Lloyd's son, and how old is he, by the way, at this point?
He's 70.
Okay, well, he's even a little younger than I thought he might be. You know, he probably has connections himself, or he might have connections. And so, you know, he might be worth to explore with him. And, you know, if he's interested in helping make this happen, that could be extremely helpful.
Sure.
And in terms of copyright, this thing was never published before,
no,
in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, from my perspective, yeah, it absolutely would have copyright protection. But you know, that could be, you can find out more information about that.
I'd like to interject something, couple of things, if you're finished, Fred.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna pop out of the picture because I have this charging, but I can hear you all.
Okay.
So thank you.
So one thing is, I'm doing a memoir right now on caregiving for my father, and one of the things to consider, as well as the book, is a possible film, like with Lifetime or Hallmark. So that, all you have to do is like a 15-page synopsis rather than the book. That's all you really need to do to pitch it to agents or for a film. And the other thing is, it would be important to protect it and register it. And I can send Peggy the link for this for everyone. The Writers Guild of America, West Coast, will register anything that's new, and they protect it. They put it away for a year for $20. So it's a great way to do something right from the get-go before anybody else sees it, before you get your real copyright. That's what I had to say.
These are a lot of ideas that we have thought about, and you know, we thought about it being a movie. When she talks about getting each one of these babies, she never gives a last name. She gives a first name. And my cousin on the East Coast is very into genealogy, so he's been trying to piece some of the genealogy together. For example, the 3 husbands, and plus I have my own aunt, and I have an aunt and then 2 uncles that are still alive, and I have been grilling them with questions. because they would remember more. I was actually born when she was still alive. I was 8 when she died. But I never knew any of this. I never knew any of this. My mother never told me any of it, and I'm not sure that even my aunt and uncle knew much about it. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Nancy. You brought a lot of comments. We've had Doug and Jackie who got film propositions. So I don't know, you might want to talk to them too. I'm also writing my memoir. And like Nancy's, I was born and raised in Mexico. And my great uncle started the first soccer team in Mexico, which was probably the first soccer team in America. So I've got all this documented and all these pictures. My grandfather was a student of Thomas Alva Edison and changed the mines, silver mines of Mexico to electricity driven and saved a lot of lives. But things like that, they're fascinating. But this time, I brought my alfabeto crossover alphabet, which is, and I just learned this word, Christomathy. It's a selection or a book used to teach language. Well, my alfabeto is designed and illustrated by me. And the point of it is to use cognates, which are the same in English as in Spanish. So to teach the sound system through similar words like A for angel and B for baby. It always, I taught preschool for a while, and it galled me that they say A, apple. Why do we start by confusing our children when we're teaching them to read? It's crazy. The words I use are all cognates, and they make sense, like U for unicorn, not U for umbrella, or C for circle. In fact, from now on, when I spell things for people, I'm going to use these cognates. But my goal, ultimate goal, is to make my alfabeto into a coloring book, because then you doubly learn it as you're coloring. A, ángel, B, bebé. And so I thought it would be a good idea, but my hands shake, and so I can't draw anymore. So I've got to find someone to do it for me. And ultimately, and this is very ambitious, I wanted to do this with all languages. English to Spanish, Spanish to English, English to French, French to English, Spanish to French, French to Spanish, and on and on. But the idea was to get, for example, with alfabeto, to get a Spanish speaker to teach you the Spanish alphabet while you teach them the English alphabet. So they would teach you A, ángel, and you would teach them A, angel. So anyway, it's an ambition. We'll see if it ever happens. In my memoir, I write on it a little bit every day. I also wrote 8 bilingual stories written and illustrated by me with excellent morals. So anyway, if we're ready, and I hadn't noticed, Noreen is here. Noreen.
Hello.
Hi. Do you want to give a little summary of your book?
Oh, sure, a short one. It's called From Hollywood to Hospice, and it's the story of being a full-time caregiver for my father and still running my television production company at the same time. And there are so many things that I wish that I knew at the end that I wish I knew in the beginning, that my book is a way of taking people on the journey from his illness until his departure. And there are wonderful, funny things that happened, as well as very good information for caregiving and extra points at the end just for caregivers. I just finished all of it, except I have to add some points, and then I'll be moving on. And I'm really excited about it.
Noreen, would you like me to add your book to the raffle?
It would have to be a manuscript, but sure.
Okay. Okay, so is anyone else here who I missed?
We have a couple of requests to share the roster.
What does that mean?
People need each other's emails and how to contact each other.
Oh, okay, to send out roster. Okay, sure. So do you guys mind if I send people your emails?
No.
No, nobody does. No, okay.
No, I'm fine.
So are we ready for the ultimate raffle?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. For Doug, the art of storytelling from parents to professionals. And that, Doug, is where I got it. Ah, it's right here. Is this right here. It's not by one of our authors, but I didn't have enough authors but if I do, then I'll give you another one. So anyway, for Marcia, Alan Maybe's album, Skywriting in Glitter. So I better put this for Doug. I don't know, Doug, do you want me to choose something else for you? Because I don't think you need to learn how to storytell. You're a good storyteller. I'll choose another one for you.
Okay.
Okay. So Alan, Marcia gets Alan's. So let me mark these. And Alan, I'll send you Marcia's email so you can contact her and decide. Well, this is an album.
Yeah, I can email it to her. I mean, it's a way, I have a way, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay. So Doug, you win Noreen's book.
Oh, great, great.
Right.
Forward to it.
Great, great. I'm happy about that.
So, Noreen, I'll
Yes.
send you Doug's email.
Perfect.
Okay. So, Daya, you get Phil Silverman's The Boomerang Twice. Is Daya here? Daya? She's gone.
There's an empty chair in one square here. Maybe that's hers.
Okay, so I'll go on to then Deneen. You get The Boomerang Twice.
Cool. Okay. Is that your first one, Phil?
No, that's your second one.
Second one, okay, because I had the first one, but it's been a while. But okay, cool. Thank you.
It's a
So-
lot of fun. It's a fun book.
Okay. And I'll figure out how I'm supposed to do that, how I get it.
I'll
I'll
send.
bring it over, you know.
Okay.
Oh, but the thing.
Well, no, I don't live there, so I'd have to meet you somewhere or something. We'll figure something out. If I have
Yeah.
his address or email address, we'll talk.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Alan, you get Black Women with Tamales.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the way Lorraine writes. To me, it's magic realism, my favorite genre.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunshine, you get Marcia Hackett's book, A Full Life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Still going strong. Good book. I enjoyed it. Phil, you get Professor Alan Dale Dickinson's book,
Great.
Charlie O'Brien, Private Investigator.
That's excellent. Love it. Thank you.
He's prolific like you are, Phil.
Thanks.
Lorraine, you get Sunshine Stories too.
All right. I'll get it to you somehow. We'll figure that out.
Cool.
Yeah, her stories, one, are very good. It was a funny story because library wouldn't take it because they thought it was religious.
They only read the
Don't, huh? So they said, no, we don't take religious works. So I had to send them a letter saying it's not a religious work for them to take it. Yeah. Michael's gone. Is Michael gone?
Yeah, he had to take off. He said he wanted to be involved, but he had to take off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nancy, you get my book, Alfabeto, Crossover Alphabet. You're so lucky. Noreen,
Yes.
you get Deneen Pizza's book,
Oh,
The
good.
Bible's Bad Girls.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
So is anyone missing? Did anyone not get a book? That's it?
Scott didn't get a book.
Bill?
Oh, Scott, I forgot.
Well, I also have one, but I'm gonna
Right.
have to soon, so,
Scott, well, you got trillions.
yeah.
Let's see. Scott. Oh, well, okay, Scott. I got it. I'll send you my book, La La Landia.
Okay,
You
now
get
you
to
know,
learn Spanish.
well, you know, I reviewed that already
Oh, you did.
on Amazon, yeah.
Huh.
Let's tell you what, we'll work out something later because I have to go.
Okay.
And I've read a lot of the people's works because I've been with the group for so long. So we'll figure it out. We'll
Okay,
figure it
cool.
I've got to go too, so.
out.
So I guess we all do.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday.
Holiday.
Happy holiday.
And thank you for coming. I think this was just so fascinating. I
It was
enjoyed
great.
all your works. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much for all of your comments. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to getting that email list, Peggy.
Oh, Nancy, did you get a book?
No, but I didn't have one to contribute.
Well, I'll send you my book, La La India.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful holiday. See
All
ya
right.
next year.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone.